and latest patented technology called the emGuarde. EM stands for electromagnetic, guard, which means you want to guard against this EM radiation. And so we're very excited because this is a patented technology and one of its kind. Now let's look into how we used to live before. When we were young, we used to play outdoors, right? We used to play with hands-on toys. We used to play with children, other children, making friends. But as you know of the world now, we're in this digital technological world, you see all these young children having at least one device, or if not two, right? They either have a handphone or an iPad or a tablet. They're either learning something on their phones, they're either playing with a game, or they're either talking to their friends on social media, even though their friends physically are right beside them. Am I right? Right? Not even just children, teenagers, young adults, us, myself included, even our older generation, they're all on Facebook. They're either on Facebook or social media. They're using social media as their business. But I want to share with you something interesting. Children absorb EM radiation from all of your devices, from your iPads, your phones, your laptop, your tablets, more than adults. Now, children, why is that? It's because children's brain, their heads are much smaller and their skulls are much thinner, which means they're able to absorb EM radiation much more than adults. Can you believe that? If that is very interesting, you can type in the chat, wow. That is very interesting that children absorb EM radiation more than adults. Unlike other pollution, we have the water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, which we can see, we can smell, which we can taste, and which we can hear. Thank you, Auntie Linda. Which we can hear, EM radiation, they call this the invincible killer. Why? Because we cannot see it. But our body is affected by it every single day. Every single day. Now, I want you to look away from the screen for a little bit. Look around your living room. If you look in your living room, you see the lights, you see the aircon, you see your TV, you see your handphone beside you, you see the laptop, microwave, refrigerator, your plugs, your socket plugs. All of these are emitting a kind of EM radiation. Now, if you see this video right here, if you see this white color energy wave that's radiating off your devices, and your whole entire family is sitting in that living room, and all these rays are going through your body, through your eyes, through your brain, would you allow your loved one to sit in the living room? No, right? Type N if you don't want your family member or your loved one to be exposed to this EM radiation. You can type an N, a letter N in a group chat. But all of this is an invincible killer. We cannot see it. Now, there are different sources of EM radiation. We have from our phones, we have from our laptop, we have from aircon, TV, high tension cable. If you're living beside a high tension cable, just better be aware. You notice that all these properties beside high tension cable are much more cheaper. Wink, right? So EM radiation, if you imagine your phones right now, where's my phone? Oh, my phone is over there. Usually for men, right, where do they keep their phone? They keep their phone on their pocket, near their jeans, their pants. And guess what? It is near their reproductive organs. For women, we usually put it in our bags. But for other like businessmen, right, they wear the coats and everything, they put their phones near their pocket here, which is near their hearts. So all of this EM radiation actually affects you. If you realize a lot of call insurance or call centers, they're always talking on the phone for a very long time. Why? Because they're talking to their clients. After 30 minutes of talking on the phone, you realize all of a sudden, become hot right? Become hot, your face starts to sweat. And then what do? You move to the other side, right? Simon Lowe calls this cooking your brain. After well done on one side, you well done on the other side. So EM radiation is actually affecting our body, our brains, our head, but we cannot see it. So as long as your microwave, if those of you who, I know you're busy with your work-life balance and the fastest way is to heat up your food with microwave, I understand. But If you can, stay away from microwaves. Why? Because the electricity, it changes the molecules of your food to heat up that fast. And so I would recommend you just heat up on the pan, on the pan on the stove. It's always better. Even your Wi-Fi, your aircon, you're constantly bombarded. Right now, if you're sitting down in aircon, you sleep with an aircon, you drive to work under a car in an aircon, go to work 9 to 5 under aircon. After that, you come back, drive home with aircon on, come to your bed, sleep with aircon on. You're constantly exposed to all this EM radiation. There are two types of EM radiation, the non-ionizing and the ionizing spectrum. If you see the red color ionizing, it's high energy waves. For example, if a person gets into an accident and they go into emergency, the doctor will ask you, hey, go for X-ray, UV, or all these. Why? Because they want to check your bone, whether it's fractured. These are high energy waves that actually destroy your DNA cells in a cellular level at a very fast, with a short exposure of time. But what we are going to learn is the non-ionizing radiation. If you see the blue color all the way to the yellow color, which is 3 megahertz, all the way up to 1000 megahertz, these research says we are constantly exposed to this EM radiation, and over a long period of time, it's going to affect our body. Now, how does it affect our body? Let's look into it together. Now, the FCC, this is the Federal Communication Commission. They came out this booklet in 1996, a long time ago. And what they found out was that our body is a great electrical conductor. If you remember chemistry, right, we have these ions like potassium, magnesium, positive, negative electrons inside our body, and our brain, our heart, our lungs, our organs, everything's emitting a kind of frequency. Our body is also emitting a kind of frequency. Now, if you look at this chart here, your brain's about the frequency of 72 to 90. Your normal brain frequency is about 72 megahertz. Your human body, heart, liver, pancreas, all this emits a kind of frequency. And if you see in my description here with my hands lifted up here, if your body is emitting a kind of frequency that matches the external from outside factors frequency, if they match it, they're going to collide and affect one another. But if they're at different frequency level, at different frequency, they're not going to affect as much. So this is what we call the resonance theory. In this bulletin itself, if you see here, RF, the human body absorbs RF energy at some frequencies more effectively than others at the range of 30 to 300 megahertz. 30 to 300 megahertz. Can everyone type in the chat 30 to 300? If you can, type in the chat. I love this session to be interactive. Now, what does this mean? It means that our body absorbs the frequencies between 30 to 300 most efficient. That means we absorb in this range much more efficient. Thank you, Auntie Linda. Now, when I say remember the two frequency that matches, let's see in physics, what does this mean? It is the What do we see here? When it's different frequency at 512, at 500 to 400, it doesn't affect, the ping pong ball doesn't move. But when it's the same frequency, the ping pong ball moves, right? That's called the resonance theory, and that's what we need to be more wary of. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in Malaysia branch, if you're not in Malaysia, please type in the chat, where are you tuning in from? I would love to get to know you. If you're tuning in from other countries, please let me know. I would love to address and say hi to our friends globally, worldwide. Or if you're on the west side, please let us know. Now, as I mentioned earlier, at the start of this presentation, I have the RD 9300. In this page is 9100, is the older model, but we have the 9300. And what this measures is the power density of the radiation. So it measures the intensity of how much radiation is coming off your phones, your laptop or your eye socket, your socket, your main plugs, or your LED, your air cons. And this is what we are measuring to measure your devices. It measures in microwatts. Now, right before I'm going to demo it to you, we're going to see how EM radiation affects our health. In WHO, everyone knows this very well-known organization, in their paper in 2011 already said that radio frequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans based on an increased risk for glioma, a malignant type of brain cancer associated with wireless phone use. Oh my goodness. Even WHO, they came up with this paper saying that they have this correlation between carcinogenic, which means cancer causing, increasing risk of brain cancer associated with your wireless phone use. Wow. WHO said this, I did not say this. Even if you're here in Malaysia, type, if you're not from Malaysia, type in the chat where you're tuning in from. If you're tuning in from West Malaysia or you're tuning in from other countries, say hi, I would love to know where you're from. This book is an e-commerce, you can get it in e-commerce. It's actually a low-level radiation, the invisible killer by the Consumer Association of Penang. If those of you who are Penang, you can type in the chat. But even in this book, if you can see the old computer laptop here, laptop pula, it's a CPU unit, very old model. They're already talking about radiation. And if you see this old handphone model, ayo, this is Nokia, right? Yeah, this Nokia, it's already, hi Carmen from Australia, welcome abroad. We'd love to have you here. Can you imagine this old model of handphone is already talking about radiation? Now type in the chat, do you think our handphones today, iPhone, Samsung, has more radiation than this Nokia old model phone? If you think so, type in Y in a group chat. Type in Y if you think the radiation are much higher now compared to the old model in this book here. And it's actually a no-brainer, right? We definitely know the older that we grow in this world, there's more radiation. Even now there's 4G, 5G, maybe next year come to 6G, right? There's a lot of radiation happening around us. Thank you, Linda. Now, this technology is based on this research called Dr. Magda Havas. She is a Canadian researcher. She researched how EMR radiation affects our body in a cellular level. And it's so interesting. Why? Because this invincible killer, EMR, is actually affecting our blood cells. If you see these 3 blue boxes right here, and you see the bottom box, there's a healthy red blood cell. Your healthy red blood cells are sparse, there's oxygen flowing through, there's circulation, but just 70 minutes out exposing to this old computer model CPU unit. I think this is 1970s already, 1970s, 1990s. In this old computer unit, look at your red blood cell. They're stacking like a coin, or in Malaysia Bahasa terms, like a cacing. Right? And even an old model cell phone, if you're exposed to 10 minutes, exactly the same, even worse. And Dr. Magda Havas referred to this formation as a rouleau formation. It's a French word, which means that when your blood is stacking like this, there is poor circulation, there is low oxygen transport, there is no nutrients passing from one blood cell to another, which causes more numbness in your arm, headache, fatigue, dehydration. If you've ever experienced numbness, headache, or fatigue, type in the chat right now. If you've ever experienced that, type in a yes. I've experienced numbness looking at my device or holding my device for too long, or headache from looking at my screen for too long. Type in yes in a group chat. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, all these for me, when I started using my iPhone 14 Pro Max, actually I'm going to grab my phone. My phone is actually the other side. So I got this for my birthday. So I turned 30 this year. I got this phone for my birthday, and I realized using this phone, my arm started to get more numb. Interestingly, my mom also got an iPhone 14 Pro and she experienced numbness with this iPhone 14 Pro Max. Isn't that crazy? And I had another friend confirm the exact same thing. And I don't know if you follow up the news, France actually, probably a few weeks back, they actually tried to fight against the sales of iPhone 12. Why? Because it has exceeded the radiation levels of the normal. And France, the country itself, is trying to halt asking Apple to stop the recall the sales of iPhone 12. And I think Belgium is following right after. Now, can you imagine all this radiation is happening around us, but we just cannot see it? But our body, if you notice, is telling us something, right? Now, this is a live blood analysis from a male that I know. And this, we're going to see 20 minutes of mobile phone use before emGuarde. 20 minutes of mobile phone use, exactly like what Dr. Magda Havas has predicted, ruler formation. And after 20 minutes of mobile use with emGuarde on, look at the vast difference, my friends. If this is shocking to you with emGuarde technology or how you're using your devices, type in a wow. Can you type in wow in a group chat if you think that this, wow, it's pretty shocking, right? With your devices when you're exposed to it every single day. I actually have a slide. I believe it should turn up. Yes, this is the slide that I wanted to show you. This is from the FCC report bulletin. And if you see this colorful chart right here from the blue to the red, there is a dangerous level and a health hazard level. And all this EM radiation from our phones, the laptop that you're seeing now, or your tablets, your children are using all these tablets, or you're exposed to this every single day, what are the symptoms? Muscle pain, numbness in your arm, difficulty concentrating, dizziness, heart problems, fatigue, lethargy, infertility, immune system recovery, eye soreness, and blindness. And if you look at screens and infect your eyes, we will look later at this science research paper of how EM radiation affect your eyes. It's going to be very interesting. Headaches, migraines, other symptoms like sleeping problems, stress and anxiety, DNA mutation, skin irritation, and rashes. Wow, all these are a lot of exposure in the long term. Now, I want to bring your attention. Let's look at the health hazard, the red color blinding here. It's telling us that from 1,500 to 2,000 microwatts, that is a health hazard zone, which means that we have to be careful for it. So I want you to remember, kind of remember this range of numbers, 1,500 to 2,000. And right now I'm going to switch off screen and we're going to do a live demo, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing, but just remember this screen, remember this slide. Awesome. So I'm going to switch it back to me. Hi, everyone who's tuning in. All right. I'm going to do a live demo. I have the emGuarde technology right here turned on. I'm going to bring it up closer. It's turned on, but I'm going to turn it off right now. Switch it off. And I'm going to pin myself first. Let me spotlight for everybody. Great. Now, this is what I call the radiation detector. I've already showed it to you. We're going to do a live demo and measure the EM radiation coming off of my iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, I'm not against Apple. I just want to show you a demo, yeah? Okay, so I'm going to just turn this on. It's 0 right now, but look, when I put up my phone, remember the range, it's 2,900, 2,800, 1,008 is jumping up to 2,000. 2,000, can you imagine that? Crazy. The health hazard level, I haven't even turned on my iPhone, you know. This is just on unlock. Now, I'm going to show you our body. Right now, there's 0 radiation, right? It's not really affecting my body as much. You see here, it's 0. But I want to show you why I get numbness on my arm. Just like we see that blood cells earlier of how there's rouleau formation happening, I'm going to show you right now. For all your children, sorry, it's a little bit close to the emGuarde, my phone. I'm going to put this down. When you turn on your phone, I'm going to turn on, for example, before you sleep, you always scroll on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or you watch your Netflix, right? Okay, I'm going to turn on Netflix right here. And I'm going to turn on one of my niece's favorite show, which is I have 3 nieces who are glued and addicted to phones. When you turn on your phone, they all come crawling after you like, oh, I want to see Auntie Eunice. I'm going to turn on Hotel Transylvania. You can hear the noise that's coming out. But look, this is 2,700. Yeah, it's going. But look at how it affects my body. I'm traveling down my arm. It's about 2005, 800. It's traveling down my arm. Yeah? And it's still turned on. And it's still beeping. Crazy, crazy. Can you imagine? Without my phone and with my phone on, the EM radiation is actually traveling through my arm. That's why I felt a lot of numbness in my arm. Crazy, right? Now, let's see what emGuarde, this amazing patented technology from a 49-year-old Japanese company called emGuarde, can do. I'm just going to put this back on. You hear the beeping. It's beeping, it's beeping. I'm going to just turn this emGuarde technology on. And wow, look at that. Straight to 0. 0. Can you imagine that? If I go to I didn't measure this earlier, but I just want to show you a simple demo of what emGuarde can do. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to move a little bit on this side so that you can see that this emGuarde is turned on, right? I'm going to switch back to my slides, but if you saw that demo, how the EM actually travels through your arm, if that really shocks you, can you type a wow in the group chat again? I would love to hear your response. Wow, how EM radiation actually affects our body, and actually how emGuarde can actually protect us. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Belinda. All right, now I'm just going to go back to the screen. Earlier, you remember my phone was beeping up to 1,005, up to 2,000, right? And do you remember the slide that I just showed you before? Let's see it again. Health hazard level, imagine. Wow, who would imagine my iPhone? I'm not condemning iPhone, but I just want a Apple company. But I want to show you who would have imagined this would have been a health hazard, a constant exposure every single day that I'm getting from my phone, right? That's why I get numbness in my arm, because why ruler formation is happening. Now, just like I said earlier, how does it affect our eyesight? This is a science peer-reviewed research from Dr. Liu Renjie. Now, he is a vice president of Himei Eye Hospital, and what he did, very interestingly, is that he took 10 participants, if you see this chart right here, N10, which means a number of 10 participants, and he put them in 3 stages. The first stage, he just tests the microcirculation and blood flow of the eye. And what he found out was an average of, out of the 10 participants, is about 20.1. And the second stage, what he did was he put them on 30 minutes of mobile phone use, just like this, and he measured their eye blood flow circulation once more. And guess what? It dropped to 16.2. Oh my goodness, from a 20.1 dropped to 16.2. That's why you're like, no wonder my eyes so dry every time I see my screen, or no wonder I get headache, or no wonder my eyes get red, because your blood circulation and the blood flow in your eye is dropping right now. And the third stage of what they did was that he turned on a technology like emGuarde right behind me, and he measured the average blood flow of their eye again. And guess what? It increased to 25.9. Wow, 25.9, a huge jump from the first stage to the second stage. And then you might ask me, hey Eunice, how come the first stage is even better than the first stage when you're not even playing on your phones? Good question. I'm going to share with you why. Because not only are we exposed to our phones, we're also exposed to our lamps, our sitting in our car, our aircon, our what else? Our microwave, our refrigerator. All things around us are constantly exposed to EMR radiation. And that's why you see these numbers right here. This, for those existing members, this is not new to you. This is the Killing Cancer, Not People. I'm just showing you a lot of research that has been done. Now, I've read this book maybe like twice already. If you see like so many coffee stains on this book, Killing Cancer, Not People. It's based on the research of Dr. Bob Wright. And in this book, he tells users exactly what tens of thousands of people have done to heal their cancers naturally, and exposes the real truth about conventional cancer treatments. So this is what he wrote in this book. And if you see here, I'm going to highlight to you in one of the pages, he wrote that electromagnetic fields, EMF, cordless and cell phones, smart meters, computers, Wi-Fi, they have their connection to autism, Alzheimer's, obesity, MS, multiple sclerosis, allergies, cancer, and others, and now includes decrease in immune function and cancer. Wow, that's scary. Like if I were reading this, I would be very scared as well. But this is what he wrote a long time ago in this book. He's already talking about this. And the last thing I want to show you, for those of you existing members, so you know this more than I do, this is Dr. Odo. He won the Nobel Prize in 1931 because he researched that two basic conditions, all forms of cancer have two basic conditions, acidosis and hypoxia, lack of oxygen. Hypoxia means lack of oxygen. And if you remember the slide with Dr. Magda Havas earlier with our red blood cells, when our red bloods are clumping, stacking together, there is lack of oxygen. And that's the exact same research that you can see similar, the red blood cell rouleau formation, similar in cancer patients. So this is peer reviewed. They're actually, other research are actually agreeing to one another, coming to the same conclusion that EMR radiation is affecting our body. Now that I've showed you from the beginning of our session how EMR radiation affects our brains, affects our body, affects our red blood cells in a cellular level, it even affects our eyes. We know how emGuarde, the technology, works. Now I'm going to show you how emGuarde works and what does it do. Okay, so we're going to go right back. We call this the harmonizer. It actually harmonizes a medium to high frequencies up to 1 gigahertz. It also protects you and your family 24/7 when you're plugged in. It's a quick and easy setup. You just plug it in, and it has a lifetime minimum up to 5 years or more. And of course, it is a patented technology. And if you ask me what is the coverage, it's 8 meters of defense, which means that 4 meters radius, 8 meters in diameter. It's like a sphere, yeah? It can go through walls, it can go through above and below. Sorry, 1 second, yeah? Let me just pause for a little bit. So EMR is a sphere, so it protects 8 meters of coverage. So for example, if you're living in a household downstairs and upstairs, if you put it in a position where it can actually protect upstairs and downstairs at the same time, or if you're a really big home, you probably need 2 or 3, maybe 2. For me, I have 2 up in my home. I have 1 to carry with me around it. I've also brought it, plug it into my car, especially EV vehicles. For those of you who have any electrical vehicles, these are actually you are actually sitting on a battery-filled car, so it's really best to protect yourself with this emGuarde. I've also taken it with me when I'm flying to Philippines, to Kuching, and it's completely safe. It's completely safe, and I love it. I protect me and myself and my family around when we travel. Now, how does this technology work? Now, emGuarde, as you see in the first picture here, when you are exposed to, like example right now, you're exposed to your laptops, your phones, all these are emitting a kind of EM radiation. And what emGuarde does is that it sends out a harmonics frequency that breaks the pathways of EM radiation affecting your eyes, your brain, your organs, you and your family. So just like an analogy, like a train and a train track, the train is the EMR radiation and the track is the pathway. Now, if you cut the tracks, pull out one track, you pull out the other track, will the train keep going? No, right? It will stop. But does that mean that EM radiation is destroyed? No, because energy can only be converted and diverted. So just like this harmonics frequency, it sends out a canceling signal to break the pathways of affecting you, your brain, your eyes, your heart, your entire body, and of course in 8 meters coverage around you too. So this is what the emGuarde can do. It harmonizes between 30 to 1000 megahertz, the low energy frequencies that we're constantly exposed to every single day. Great. This is also this is just an animated form of how emGuarde works. It's actually just reiterating the first slide. Once again, emGuarde sends out a harmonic frequency that breaks the pathways of EM radiation for affecting you and your body in an 8 meter coverage. This is also a testing laboratory report. Now we have so much research from experts doing this, proving how emGuarde works. In the first page on the left-hand side, if you see the slide here, is showing the results of an electrical field intensity. Now, this is the EM radiation happening. And when emGuarde is turned on, look at the second picture. Wow, just like the train track analogy, it cutting it through, so it sends out a harmonic frequency that cancels out the signal of EM radiation from affecting you and your body from 30 to 1000 megahertz of a coverage up of 8 meters. This is done in Shenzhen, this laboratory report. So as you know, we have learned how EM radiation is happening all around us. Can we stop it? No, right? We're living in a digitalized world. We learn how EMR radiation affects our body, our organs, our heart, our blood in a cellular level, affects our eyesight too with our blood flow as we learned earlier, and how emGuarde can be the answer to our global problem. It's also a pandemic problem, right? EM radiation is not just affecting our home, our community, our country, but it's affecting everywhere around the globe. So I'm presenting to you, now that the first session of my presentation, we've learned about the product, I'm going to share about you this amazing business plan that comes with this emGuarde patented technology. In Kangen, we learned that there is a slogan called change your water, change your life, right? If those of you know that slogan, change your water, change your life, type in water at the group chat. I would love to hear from you, existing members. But with emGuarde, we have a slogan called change your environment, change your life. We love this slogan. It's super, super easy to remember. Now, emGuarde, once again, EM stands for electromagnetic. Guard, which means we want to guard against electromagnetic from affecting our bodies. And it starts at a retail price of $6,620. Now, for those of you, I remember we have friends in Australia. We probably need to check in the office again, but currently we just launched this emGuarde product in Singapore at the price of Sing dollar 2,138.40 cents. We launched it in Singapore 2 weeks ago, and it's going crazy right now. So we can't wait for when the office is going to tell us, the headquarters is going to tell us when they're moving next. But this is a global business that you can go into. We have 6,620 up to 24 months installment, with less than the price of a cup of Starbucks latte or frappuccino per day. You get to buy into this global business, which is about $276 per month, 0% interest free. And so with less than a Starbucks cup of latte or frappuccino, I believe in Malaysia, you can tell me how much they cost, Carmen, in Australia. Or if you ever drink Starbucks. I know Aussies love their coffee. They're very specific with their coffee. But in Malaysia, it's about 20 ringgit up to 21 ringgit from the last that I've seen, a latte or frappuccino. But with less than a cup of coffee a day, you get to buy into not just a great patented technology that protects you and your family up to 8 meters, but also get to be a part of this global network where you can build an entire business globally. If you've heard about emGuarde, so this patented technology is from emGuarde, and we are very excited because this company, a 49-year-old private Japanese company, has been reputable for 49 years and running almost close to 50 years starting next year. We have 25 countries worldwide in 42 locations, and the recent office that they opened was in Nigeria, and it appears in this. But if you see here, this is to illustrate that this is a global business that you can be a part of. What makes emGuarde different? If you haven't heard of this company before, let me share with you. This company is 49 years. That means they're here for a long run. We have the ISO 13485, which is a medical cert proving for our Kangen, famous Kangen water machines. It is a Japanese medical device with a certificate, which means that we are certified a Japanese medical device. We are endorsed by Dr. Hiromi Shinya, a very famous colonoscopist, I believe, a specialist in Cologne, and also the American Anti-Cancer Institute and JAPA, the Doctors in Japanese Association of Prevention of Adult Diseases, JAPA, which over 6,500 doctors in the association itself. Now, these Kangen medical devices are first used in hospitals, and in 1994, they actually broke down into domestic units. Their warranty, for example, an SD501 is up to 5 years. And once you purchase a Kangen machine, it can last you up to 25 years or more if you take good care of it. That's why maintenance is important. And likewise, this is a global business. Now let's hit a pause for a second. If you want to start a business, let me ask you something. If you want to start a business, let's say a restaurant or a cafe, how much of capital do you have to start up with? You can type in a chat if you want to let me know how much do you think do you have to start a capital? A startup capital would be for a cafe or a restaurant. You can type in the chat. Just look in the chat. Awesome, Jackson, water, Chloe, water. It's about, I would say, maybe 100 to 150K or even more just to start up here in Malaysia, a cafe or a restaurant. But over time, for example, you have to pay rental for your place. You have to pay for stocks, what kind of food, your coffee you're producing, or where you're getting it from, your sources. You have to pay for overhead fee. You have to pay for your employee fee. You have to pay for a lot of these hidden costs that could accumulate over time. So one of my friends did open a business, and he was open-heartedly shared with me that he had to pump in about 600,000 in the next 6 months when he first started his restaurant in order to sustain it. That is a lot of capital. Hundreds of thousands of ringgits have been put into this restaurant. Can you imagine that? Now, there's nothing wrong, no shame about doing all this business. I'm just showing an example. There's a lot of cafes and restaurants out there in the F&B that are truly successful. But if you ask me, what kind of quality of business that I would like? For me, there are a few qualities. Number one, of course, in this business, no monthly qualifications. I don't want to have a monthly target sales that I have to keep up and that I have to keep up with every single month. So in this business, there's no monthly qualification. It's up to you how you want to do your target sales. Number two, no inventory or stocks. Hallelujah. There are no stocks to keep, no headache. A lot of times stocks is, if you're doing a cafe in a business, for example, like we take that example earlier, if your stocks expire, what do? You throw it away. It expires. So for this business, there's no stocks. There's no annual renewal. There's no annual fee. There is also a group accumulative sales, which means that you get to do this business with a team together. You are not alone in this business. You get to build a team, which we'll see how you do it later on. It's a global business. Amazing. Earlier, we looked at this world map. There's 25 countries and 42 locations worldwide. It is a global business with less than a cup of Starbucks coffee a day. You get to build this business globally. And also, we have a patented commission from the Japanese emGuarde company. It's a patented commission, which I will share with you a little bit more later. And with this amazing technology, emGuarde, we have a market. And what's so specifically about this market? It's an untapped market. How exciting is that? It's an untapped market, which means it's new. People need it in their household. Everyone, now type in a group chat. Anyone who owns an iPhone or a device, do you think they need this emGuarde? After learning about how EM radiation affect you. Do you think everyone needs an emGuarde? If you do think so, type a Y in a group chat. If you think anyone with a device, a laptop, or a handphone needs this emGuarde, type a Y in a group chat. For me, it's a no-brainer, right? Anyone who has the devices needs an emGuarde. Awesome, thank you. I think the lines are slowly coming in. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Linda. Awesome. Now, there are different types of commission. In this beautiful enagic business, there are so many commissions that are being paid out every single day. But today, I'm only going to go through the 8-point commission. Why? Because if I go through 1 to 10, we won't be home, or you'll fall asleep during my presentation. We'll probably go up to 12 a.m. No, I'm just kidding. I won't hold you up that long. So I'm only going through the 8-point commission system. And how does it work? For those of you who are in this business, you already know how direct sales work, but I'm going to just share with you. Direct sales, for example, you start in this business, this is you start with an emGuarde, and you share about emGuarde just like in this Zoom session. Someone else, your friends buy it. This is called a direct sale. They buy it directly from you. You share the product, they buy it, you earn a commission. Indirect sales is when your friend shares emGuarde to another person and they buy from your friends. This is called an indirect sale. So direct sale plus indirect sale will give you your total group sales. That's why it's a group. Now the 8-point commission. Once again, in Malaysia, emGuarde is 6,620. enagic has set aside 2,400 per sale for distributors. And what they do, they call it the 8 points. An easy analogy, if you see this chart right here, the circle, we cut the pie or a pizza or a cake into 8 slices. So 2,400 divided by 8 equals to 300 per point. Now I'm going to go through, so my friends in Australia can do this rough conversion, but we're going to do this in Malaysian ringgit. I hope you don't mind with that. Okay, so how does this business enagic model works? We have what we call ranks in this business. When you start a business, your first 2 direct sales, you become a rank of 1A, which means you get a commission of 1 point, 300. When you sell your 3rd direct sale onwards, you become a 2A, which means 1 point times 2. 300 times 2 is 600. Now, when you have an accumulation of 10 group sales and above, you become a 3A rank, which means a commission of 900. And it goes on. You become a 4A rank when you have 20 cumulative emGuarde group sales. Each point is 1,200. Now imagine you're a 4A rank and you've sold, you did a direct sale of 10. 10 times 1,200, you would have gotten a 12,000 commission in sales for that week or that month. Wow, that's a lot of money at 4A rank. Now, if you keep going, you become a 5A when you have 50 cumulative emGuarde group sales. Each group sale, you get a commission of 1,500. And the last rank that we have here in this enagic model is 6A, which means that every emGuarde sales, you'll get 1,800 accumulative if you have achieved cumulative 200 emGuarde group sale. So if you're asking me, what is this ranks, Eunice? Let us simplify and show you an example. Okay, for example, we're gonna start, imagine you start this emGuarde business, 6,620 or up to 24-month installment, RM 276 per month. And we're gonna count your commission. Let's share this example together. You start an emGuarde and we're gonna count your commission together. You sell to your first friend, Tom, under your 1A franchise lane. You get 1 point, which is 300. Now your next direct sale to Alex, who loves this emGuarde technology, under your 1A franchise lane, you get a commission of 300. Now your 3rd direct sale, you sell it to Rose, and you open up your
Hello, everyone. Okay, let me see if I'm able to. Some technical difficulties. My laptop just died on me. But my laptop is about to come back on. So if those of you can hear me, type in a group chat if you can actually hear me on my iPhone right now. That'll be so helpful. Yes, great. Thank you, Linda. Hi, Jackson. Awesome. So I was in the middle of sharing with the business plan. Let me see if I can spotlight myself. Thank you all for your patience. Sometimes this technical just breaks down, but all good. Let me see how can I. Oh, I'm muted again. Give me a second while I just set this up. Okay. All right, we are back on. Great, awesome.
Hello.
Hi everyone. Sorry, that was a technical error. We just locked out and locked in. But thank you all for your patience. I'm going to reshare my screen. My laptop just went back on. Can somebody help me put me on host? That would be great. Let me see if I can share my screen. One second. Now, so far, has anyone loved about the has anyone thought about the technology or who has one? Type in a group chat if you have a emGuarde technology now. You can type in a group chat if you do have it. Type a yes, that'd be great, so that I know that you actually have experienced the product itself. Okay, so yes, great. Thank you. I'm trying to share the screen, but I'm not a host. So I'm trying to figure out. Oh, great. One second, everyone. All right. While the Magic Office, the person on the other screen, puts me back on hold so that we can complete this business model. For those of you who have an emGuarde, type a yes in a group chat. I would love to know. I know Belle has one, Linda has one, Jackson, do you have one? Great. Yeah, this amazing technology. Actually, my sister just got hers 2 days ago. And what she does is that she charges her phone beside her head before she sleeps. And not only that, she charges her phone when she sleeps beside her head, beside the pillow. She also puts the rain sound. Rain sound. And it turns on for the whole entire night. So when she heard about this emGuarde technology, she's like, Eunice, I need to have one, because she keeps getting a headache after exposing to her phones 24/7. Not only she's doing it in her business, but she's sleeping with her phone beside her head too. So if those of you here who sleeps with your phone, I highly encourage you to put your phone on the floor, put it on airplane mode if you don't have the emGuarde product just yet. That will actually help you minimize your exposure to EM radiation. Thank you. Awesome. I can actually share screen now. Great. Let me just reopen my slideshow and then we can continue on with the emGuarde presentation. Business plan. All right. Praise the Lord. Yay. All right. So we were at 2A. Awesome. Now, backtracking a little bit. Now, if Tom in your 1A franchise lane, coming back to the business plan of counting your commissions, of how you can earn a commission with this global business, if Tom in your 1A lane sells to Grace and Grace sells to Polly, these are your indirect sales. With all your indirect sales, you also get 300 ringgit. Why? Because all these indirect sales, Grace, Polly, and Arthur, are under your 1A franchise lane. Now your next direct sale, you sell it to Kim. You open your another 2A franchise lane. You're still 2A. Why? Because you still have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 group sales. Under your 2A Kim, you get a commission of 600 ringgit. Now, if Kim loves this product and she sells it to her neighbor, Ali, Abu, and Ani, how much of commission would you have gotten? You would have gotten 600 from Ali, 600 from Abu, 600 from Ani. Wow, can you imagine this business? Indirect sale, you get a commission of 600 under your 2A lane. Now, after 10 group sales, you sell it to your next direct sales to May, you open up your 3A franchise lane, which means you get a commission of 3 points, 900. Now, coming back to Ani, if Ani sells to Bryce this product with a referral ID, how much do you think you would have gotten? You would have gotten not 900, but you would have gotten 600. Now, you might ask me, Eunice, why is that? I thought I'm running a 3A, I would have earned a 3A commission. No, why? Because Ani, who sold it to Bryce, is under your 2A franchise lane. We follow back the 2A franchise lane, the same lane, which means you get a 600 ringgit. Now, if Ani sells to Ben, to Bob, you still get 600. Now, if Bob sells to Joe, you still get 600 because all of this is still under your 2A franchise lane. Now, let's look into this case. If John sells it to Don, how much of commission do you think you will get? Now, remember earlier I shared about the 8-point patented commission system, which means in a cake or a pie, there's only 8 slices being put out. Now let's count together. 2A, which means 2 points, right? Let's count together. How much of points are being left over for you? John gets a point because he sold it to Don. He's on 1A. Bob gets 2 points. Ani gets 2 points. There are 2 A's. Kim gets 2 points. You get 1 point. Why? Because 8 pieces of the pie has already been given out, which means that you will get a commission of 300 from an indirect sale to Don. Does that make sense? Now, if John sells to Dave, you get still 300. If he sells his third direct sale, which means he becomes a 2A, how much of commission do you think you'll get? Now let's count together. How many points left over from the 8 pieces of pie? 2 points given to John, 2 points given to Bob, 2 points given to Ani, 2 points given to Kim. You get 0 points. What is this sale called? Which means you get any commission? 0. Is that a good sign or a bad sign? You might say, I don't have any more commissions. But let me tell you the good news. Now, this kind of commission, this sale is called a non-8A sale. It does not count as your group sale. Now, the Enagic company pays out 8 points this way. That's why there's a cutoff point, which means that if they don't have this cutoff point, they wouldn't have lasted in this 49 years a sustainable, a thriving company. That's why they have this 8-point commission system. And also it means that your group is growing. Who doesn't want your group to grow, right? if you actually see this 8-point commission system, if you look at it, Mr. Oshiro, he's already given you a hint. Your sales, the amount of commission greater is in your direct sale or your indirect sale. If you see this here, they're very transparent about this 8-point commission system. Your majority of your commission, if you want to earn more, is in your indirect sale. And they're very transparent about this. They're already given you that hint. So if it's out of your 8 points, do you think your organization in 2A will stop? For example, will Ali stop? Will Abu stop? Will Ani stop? No. Bryce, Ben are still growing, which means you're still getting commissions from other lanes in this 2A franchise lane, right? Now let's keep going. Imagine you have accumulated of 20 group sales. Your next direct sale, you send it to Tony, Tony, you become a 4A, which means you earn 4 points, 1,200. And imagine if you have 10 group sales, then you would gotten 10 times 1,200 per point, you get 12,000 commission. And your next, imagine you sold to a diamond person like Simon Lowe. After 50 group sales, your next direct sale to Simon, you become a 5A, which means each point, each emGuarde sale would have been 1,500 in this franchise 5A lane. And lastly, you found a diamond, another diamond in your group to Sam. If you know Sam Sia, you can type it in group chat. If you know Sam, you can type in S. Mr. Sam Sia, the very man and legend himself. You recruit him in this organization. After 1,200 group sales, you get an earn of 1,800 for every point, for every group sale in your 6A. Just saying in the chat. Awesome. Now this is the 8-point patented commission. Like I said earlier, Mr. Oshiro and the company is very transparent with how they paid this 8 points. And if you see here, the hint is in your indirect sale, right? If you do all these sales by yourself, you're going to get very tired. That's why this is a team building together. We rank up together. If you succeed, I succeed. And this kind of business model, maybe it may not work in the corporate world. If someone in the corporate world, for example, who's working under you gets promoted, there's a lot of catty and a lot of jealousy that happens. But in this business, we want you to rank up together, because if you rank up, if you succeed, I succeed together. So this is the beauty of the 8-point commission system. If I'm still lagging, I see July. If I'm still lagging, just let me know. But this is the 8-point commission system. I'm just checking in on the chats. July, yes, you can use the emGuarde outside. So you can actually use your power bank with you. I don't encourage you to use it for a long term, but a short amount of time will do. So for sometimes I go out and meet clients, I'll actually put it in my power bank if I don't have any socket around me, socket plug around me. So that's what I use it outside. You can bring it, it's portable with you. It's a USB, literally plug and play. Yeah, plug and play. And like I mentioned earlier, I've driven with it, plugged it in my car. I've actually flown with it with Malaysian Airlines to Philippines and Kuching and a couple of places, and it's completely fine. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question. So I'm just gonna stop share. Great. So let's recap together. We have learned that EM radiation is happening all around us. It's already affecting our body. You feel the symptoms, you feel the numbness, you feel the headache. It's already affecting us. But what is the solution? emGuarde is a patented technology from a 49-year-old private Japanese company that already proven effective with all the research done. You've seen how it works even with the detector. You've seen how it affected our body and how emGuarde, when it's turned on, it sends a harmonics frequency, a specific harmonics frequency that breaks the signals EM radiation from affecting you and your family in 8-meter coverage. And of course, with your investment of less than a Starbucks coffee cup a day, you get to buy it into this global business. And as you remember earlier, I showed you the map. We have 25 countries worldwide with 42 locations. Wow, that's amazing. If I'm still lagging July, just let me know. So I've already shown you the product. I've already shown you the business plan that comes with this amazing technology. What's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is you buy this product, with a 276 ringgit per month, up to 24 months. You don't do the business, but guess what? You're protecting you and your family. Worst case scenario, you buy this, you have the product at hand, and your family is entirely protected 24/7 at home. Yeah. If I'm still lagging July, just let me know, but I'm just going to keep going. So I've shown you the product, I've shown you the business plan. Now, coming to the end of my presentation, do we have a problem? Do we have an existing problem? Yes, we do. EMR radiation is affecting us, not just ourselves, our community, our country. It is a global pandemic problem. Do we have the solution for it? Yes, we do. emGuarde is already a proven patented technology. And is there a market for it? Of course there is. It's new in the market. We just launched in Malaysia in May, I believe, and 2 weeks ago we launched in Singapore, and it's going crazy. Detectors are selling out. Everyone wants a detector. It is a global market, of course. And of course, I show you the business plan, the 8-point patented system, with the commission coming from an indirect sale. Can you imagine how generous this company has been? And if you know Japanese people, they don't do business short term. They do this business for a long term. And of course, the philosophy with this business is the true basic principles, true health. You get your physical health with emGuarde. You and your family are protected 24/7 for EM radiation. You get a true health, physical health. What else? Can anyone remember the 3 basic principles? You can type it in the chat. You get financial health. We saw the business plan. We saw how much this can truly change lives, not just health-wise, but also in your financial health. And lastly, when you are financially stable, your health is protected, you get a peace of mind, which means your mental health, you get a true health mentally, spiritually. Linda says spiritually. I truly believe that too. Truly believe that too. All right. So I've come to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, just type in a group chat. But if not, we have a Telegram chat with the emGuarde official. So if you've not joined that yet, let me just paste it here. For those of you who have not joined the Telegram chat, let me just paste it here. Where is it? Yep. Copy link. And I'm just going to paste it here. Telegram chat, that's where you have the training, a lot of information that updates regarding the emGuarde or new research that's coming up to validate more of what this patented technology can do. And once again, if you're in Malaysia or if you're planning to visit Malaysia, on November 4th, we have an EKW, which is the Essential Kangen Workshop that is happening. It's going to be a huge event in Mid Valley, Citadel, or either the Gardens Ballroom. It's a time where we get together with other distributors, gain more clarity in this business. Now, this is an event you do not want to miss. Why? Because you get to hear from top leaders who have been in this business for decades. You get to hear their wisdom, you get to hear their experience, and of course, you get to feel encouraged and supported by this amazing community in this enagic family. So that's happening on the 4th of November here in Malaysia. If you want to come visit, come hop on over in a flight. We would love to meet you. And also on the 5th of November, we have a Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life course by Colonel Pak Easy. So he is a colonel and he's been sharing about a lot of concepts and practical ideas on how you can succeed in your life. He's been training thousands of insurance agents. He's a well-known speaker. This is going to be happening on the 5th of November. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 kind of a session. 4th of November, you go to EKW, and the 5th of November, you get to experience a live training session with Pak Easy. So that is what we have coming up. That's the end of our session. Next week, we're going to have another 8:30 Wednesday Zoom session on Zoom. I believe the link will be sent out from the office itself. So if you don't have any questions, have a great night, everyone. For those of you coming who you're visiting from Australia, I believe it's around the same time. Sorry, I haven't been to Australia before. But if you're going to sleep, have a good night, everyone. If you're starting your day from different parts of the world, have a great day. I'm going to close this chat if there's no other questions. And I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Malaysia time. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Linda. It was really great to see you on Zoom tonight. It's really, really great to see you. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to close the chat. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, Belinda.